Hi, we are John and Holly with Let's Go Now Adventures, and thank you for joining us today for our Christmas camping gift guide.
All right, happy holidays. And all of the camping gear that we're going to be presenting today to help you make a gift buying decision is gear that we've used. You know, we've been camping for over 30 years, and whether it's in a tent or in a trailer, we've used this gear.
Yes.
And this gear is proven to last the test of time.
Tried and true.
It is. And so this is gear that we can recommend that if you give this as a gift, that you know that whoever receives it will truly cherish it.
John, I think we should start out with camp stoves and camp grills.
Whether you've been camping for a while or just getting started, the camp stove is kind of one of those items that you'd like to build your camping gear kit around. And the first two that I'd like to mention are great starter camp stoves. They're both from Coleman. The first is the standard basic camping stove. It has the two burners. Each of those burners puts out about 10,000, 11,000 BTU. And the second one is just a step up from that, and that's the Coleman even temperature stove. That one has actually three burners, so that covers the entire cooking surface, and each of those three burners puts out about 11,000 BTU.
Now, it's actually the Coleman 3-burner that we have, and I love this grill. One thing with this grill is it's lightweight and it's very, very compact. Now, if you're trying to pack a trailer, you need every inch of space you can get. So this can go just slide in a little corner. It's also really easy to lift out and get set up, which I find really attractive. And with those 3 burners, I can just go ahead and put down grill. What are those called?
A cast iron
grill griddle combo. I always say that wrong. Just on top of the 3 burners, and I'm set to cook anything. So with the lightweight and the portability, this is a plus in my book.
All right, and so the next level up is 2 stoves by the company Camp Chef, and one is called the Explorer and the other is the Pro 90X. They're essentially the same stove, one's just bigger than the other one. The first one has 2 burners, the second one has 3. Now each of those burners, and what makes Camp Chef awesome, is that each of those burners puts out 30,000 BTU.
Oh!
It's awesome. It's great for cooking in cold or windy temperatures, or when you have a lot of people.
A lot of people, and that's what I think the plus is. We have the 3-burner Camp Chef, and it's fantastic. When we are up camping and we have our whole entire family there, that's when we pull out the Camp Chef 3-burner. It really does great for a large group of people. You know, one kind of downside is it is heavy. I think it's about 60 pounds, so to lift it from here to there or up and down, it is a little bit cumbersome, but once again, it does fantastic for big groups of people or when you need a big
heavy duty
camp stove. There you go.
You know, we actually just did a video not too long ago where we cooked an entire Thanksgiving dinner outside, and we used the Pro 90X, the 3-burner version of the Camp Chef stove. So the next 2 stoves I'd like to present are both from the company Blackstone. One's the 17-inch griddle and the other's the 22-inch griddle. Now Holly loves these. We just picked them up this last year and they've been a hit since we got them. And Holly is going to tell you a little bit more about those.
Hey, this is a real treat if you have somebody that's looking for a griddle. So one thing, we have the 17-inch and it is just perfect for us, but you can cook your entire breakfast all together, your bacon, your eggs, your pancakes, everything on the same griddle. And one thing that's nice, especially when you're cooking the bacon, the grease just rolls off into the catcher. So this has just been a wonderful find for us this last year. So you should check it out if you have a loved one that you think might like this griddle.
All of the items that we're going to be talking about today, we're going to be linking, giving useful links for those items down in the description below. So if you need to find out more information about than what we can tell you in today's short video, you can click on the link to get more details. The other thing is if you wish to purchase that item, boom, you just click that right there and then you can purchase the item directly from the description in this video. We're also going to include the time stamp of each of the sections that we're talking about. So like, for example, if you were looking here, hey, they mentioned that really cool tent. You could just go straight to the tents and sleeping area, look up the time code for that and go, oh, look, that's at the end. And I'll just zip right up to the end, go up to that time, and then you can check out that tent again.
Okay, so let's get started on camping lights.
Camping lights, a good camping light, flashlight, headlamp, lantern, those are something, it gets dark out there and you're going to need some light to be able to see what you're doing. So the first one I'm going to talk about is LE brand LED camping lantern. Now this camping lantern is a good workhorse. It's an all-around great lantern when you're trying to light a large area. It runs on D batteries.
You know, it does run on D batteries. However, we used our camping lantern all summer long, and we only had to switch the batteries out once. So very, very effective.
Now the next two are a flashlight and a headlamp, and they're good for different reasons. The flashlight, you can direct the light with your hand wherever you need it. The headlamp is great because you can direct the light with your head, and you have both of your hands free. As far as flashlights go, you can't go wrong with the Gearlight LED tactical flashlight, and that comes in a 2-pack. It's a small flashlight, but it puts out a ton of light, and you can focus the light to a really bright, tight beam or a much broader, less bright, wide beam to light more of an area. The same thing with the Everbright 2-pack headlamp flashlight. That's a headlamp that you can use, put it on your head, that keeps your hands free. Both of these, the flashlight and the headlamp, are great for lighting the way and doing what you need to do.
You know, I have to say that I love my headlamp. When I have to get up in the middle of the night out of our tent and I can't see where I'm going, I pop my headlamp on and I can take care of business much easier.
That's right. And then the next lamp, it's actually a lantern. This is called the Hybrid Light Atlas 600 Solar LED Waterproof Camping Lantern. That's a lot. That's a mouthful.
Can you say that 10 times fast?
But we have we have some lights that are powered by battery, and this one's powered by solar. The reason is we have different power sources for the two different lanterns. This one is, once you get that initial charge, you use it, put that initial charge on the lantern at home. Then you take it out. All you have to do is make sure you set it in the sun during the daytime, and you've got a lantern powered all night long.
Yeah, very, very reliable. And the thing that I love, love, love about this lantern is it charges your phone. So huge plus.
Now there's one other light that we have, and this is the light we keep in our tent. This is a light fan combo. It's the Otoland portable LED camping lantern and a ceiling fan. This is a really inexpensive light. It's great to hang up in the center of your tent. It lights the entire tent area, but in the summertime you turn that fan on and it kind of keeps the air moving so it doesn't get as stuffy in your tent. And if you're using a heater like we do to warm your tent up, then it kind of moves that warmer air around so that there aren't cold spots and hot spots in the tent.
Yeah.
It just makes it more comfortable overall.
Yeah, I have to say that I really like the fan in the summer because it keeps the air kind of moving so it's not so hot and stuffy in the tent. But I really like the ceiling fan when we use it in the winter, and it kind of circulates that warm air so it's not just in a pocket, but it's throughout the whole entire tent. Makes the tent toasty. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about things around the campfire.
Now the campfire, it's got to be one of the centerpieces or the most essential elements of any camping trip. Now, the thing with the campfire though is we want to do it effectively and we want to do it safely. One of the coolest little gadgets we use is the Acmend barbecue grilling gloves, 1472 degrees heat resistant grill gloves. These things are awesome when you're working around a campfire or you're doing any Dutch oven cooking.
Yeah, I use them all the time. I do a lot of our Dutch oven cooking. You can put these gloves on and actually not only pick up the Dutch oven, but pick up the coals to put on the Dutch oven. You could actually move wood around in the fire, or if you drop something in the fire, actually pick it up out of the fire. These have been lifesavers for us. And one thing is I like to have 2 sets of these gloves because inevitably we're always going to be misplacing just one glove, so then we just go to our second set. So they're nice things to have around.
Now the next 3 items go all together and they make a nice fire making kit. One is the Eastwig Sure Strike Drilling 3-pound sledgehammer. The next is a Fiskars 14-inch hatchet. And the last is a Collins 4-pound forged steel wedge. Now using these 3 items combined, You can prep your campfire wood before you get started so that you can create a fire first time, one match every single time, and you can do it safely.
Yeah, if you'd like to learn more about how to make an effective campfire and how to do it efficiently and with these tools, take a look at the link above and John will show you just how to do that using these amazing tools.
You know, one thing is that the techniques that I show and I share in that video are safe. That's the main reason we came up with those techniques, is so that you're not swinging an axe. Unless you swing an axe for a living, you're probably not very good at it. And the techniques that I've shown in the video that Holly just pointed out are safe techniques that anybody in your campsite can do. So moving on, when you have a fire, it's really a good idea to have a small shovel. And a really nice shovel that we use is the Rhino USA Folding Survival Shovel with a pick. This allows you to move logs around or reposition your fire or pick up a whole shovel full of coals and put them where you're going to be cooking. And the last is the Lodge Chimney Charcoal Starter. Lodge is the brand and it's a charcoal starter. It's one of the fastest ways to get charcoal ready for cooking.
Okay, moving on to some things that you could use in your camp kitchen.
And if you've watched our channel much, you know that camping meals are kind of a centerpiece. It's a social gathering point during the course of the day. And so we do take our camp cooking very seriously. So some of the ideas that you can have around your camp kitchen, these first three, by the way, this is quality of life issues. One of these three items and the knowledge of how to use them really makes a difference on whether or not camping is enjoyable or not enjoyable. And that's 3 different ways to prepare coffee.
He's a big coffee drinker, can you tell?
The first is just a GSI outdoor 20-cup coffee pot. You can do it on the stove or on the fire to get the hot water ready to make your coffee. The second is the Stand Sport is the brand, enamel percolator and coffee cups. This is the traditional blue camping enamel that you see on the cups and on the percolator. And you can use the stove again to percolate your coffee so that you have it each morning and can start your day off on the right foot. The other one we haven't tried yet, but I'm really dying to try this, is a product Coleman makes. It's a camping coffee maker. You put this device, it looks just like a coffee maker, your automatic drip coffee maker. You set it right on the burner of your camp stove and it works. You use the heat from the burner of your camp stove, heats it up the water, and you have an automatic drip coffee maker out camping.
Ding, Christmas idea, Christmas idea.
All right, the next one is, the next two actually are if you're ever camping and you need to bake items, whether it's from a couple of muffins all the way up to a nice pot roast or anything like that. 2 ways to get baking while you're camping is just a Coleman camp oven. If you're doing a light baking project, just a couple of muffins for breakfast or whatnot, the Coleman oven sits right on the Coleman stove. And it heats up just like an oven. And if you were going to make 6 muffins or something small like that, the Coleman camp oven is a great way to go. The way we do most of our baking and roasting is in a Dutch oven. And if you were only going to pick out one Dutch oven, I'd recommend a 12-inch Dutch oven as kind of a starting point. And the one that we really recommend is the Camp Chef Classic 12-inch Dutch oven.
Yeah, Dutch ovens come in different sizes, but 12 inches seems to be just perfect for most of the things that at least we make in our recipes that go along with it.
And then one little accessory to help your baking, especially if you're baking cakes or things that if you put it right on the bottom of the Dutch oven, it can get a little overdone on the bottom, is Mrs. Anderson's Baking Multi-Purpose Chrome Wire Cooling Rack. Yes, what it is you set it in your Dutch oven and then you set your baking pan on that. What it does is then inside of the Dutch oven, it allows warm air to circulate all the way around what you're baking. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've used that to make a fun strawberry pie, and it really helped the temperature so it was a more even cook, so I didn't get the crust too done. It worked out wonderful, so that's a great fun gift idea.
And the other thing you can do with that cooling rack, get a couple of them, is that you take the cooling rack, you can set it on your table take your Dutch oven off of the coals or the fire and set it right on the cooling rack, and then you don't burn through any tablecloth that you may have.
Good idea. We did that this summer. Well, I did that this summer. So get the cooling rack.
The next three are kind of novelty items that they're not novelty or gimmicky. They're just awesome, and they allow you to make some treats while you're camping that are different than what you get most of the time when you're camping. And the first is a square pie iron, a cast iron pie iron.
And if you don't know about pie irons, check the link above. We had a fantastic time making some fun pie iron recipes this summer, and it's fun for everybody to kind of participate in. There's so many wonderful fun ideas to make in your pie iron.
The second clever item is a Coleman popcorn popper.
Yeah. You know, one thing sorry to keep interjecting, but we love to use our popcorn popper. We like to string a sheet up between trees when we're up camping, pop some hot, fresh popcorn, and sit and enjoy a movie. There's nothing better.
We use a little bit of an inverter and a deep cycle battery to power that projector, and that's a hit. You'll have neighbors stopping by to watch the movie.
Popcorn in a movie. It's wonderful.
And the last one is the Elite Gourmet 6-quart old-fashioned ice cream maker. This is a cool ice cream maker because you can use it off of power if you're at like an RV park. And if you don't have power, then you can do it the old-fashioned way. You hook up the crank top and you crank. Ice cream and camping, you don't usually see those two together, but when you can pair them together, you're the hero. You've got a great treat. And the last one is kind of to go along with the Dutch oven, is a different way to use your Dutch oven, and it's the Stand Sport cast iron camping tripod. And what you do is you put the tripod over your campfire, and then on a chain you hang your Dutch oven, which is great for making soups and stews and things like that on cold autumn camping trips, or when it's a little off temperature, a little cooler. You can just be cooking that right over the top of the campfire, and you can dip into that and
warm,
warm your whole group up.
Yeah, that's fun. So Murphy's joined us for just a minute. So moving on, let's talk coolers, John.
Okay, coolers is another one of those items that you have to have in your camping kit. You've got to be able to keep your drinks cold and your food safe.
Yeah.
Now you can spend a ton of money on a cooler, and those are great coolers. I'm not discounting that, but we don't need to spend that much money. A brand and a lineup from Coleman, which is their extreme marine coolers, we found to be just as effective as the much more expensive brands. We are presenting the 70-quart, 120-quart, and then the 100-quart cooler with wheels. They're very reasonably priced, and they'll keep your food cold and keep it safe. They say up for 5 or 6 days. It's not uncommon for us to put ice back in the freezer when we get back from a camping trip.
Yeah, these coolers have been fabulous, haven't they? And they also dub as an actual chair. So some coolers aren't made to sit on, but these are actually made where you can pull the cooler up and you've got 2 extra seats, which is kind of a plus. Now that cooler that's on wheels that we put the link below, I want that one. These coolers can get kind of big and kind of heavy, and I think I'm ready for the one that's on wheels, John.
It sounds like it'd be a good upgrade.
Yeah. Okay, the next category is all about staying warm.
So we've been camping in July and August when it can get down to the mid-20s. And all the water around camp is frozen when you wake up in the morning. Well, it's when you're camping like that, it's absolutely gorgeous, but you need to keep your loved ones warm. 3 devices that I recommend for keeping everybody comfortable and toasty are, first, it's the Giant-X Firebowl Outdoor Portable Propane Gas Fire Pit. This fire pit is awesome. It's not meant to replace a traditional real wood campfire, but in the morning when you wake up, it's so quick. Turn a knob, flick your lighter, you've got an instant fire in the morning, and it's a great place to gather around with your coffee. There's the coffee again.
There's the coffee.
Gather around and get warm and toasty right that first thing in the morning. You've just got that fire, it just starts right up, and there you are. You've got a nice warm place to gather. One other thing about this fire pit is that another reason to have it with you is there are so many places now because of fire danger that don't allow you to have a real wood fire, an open flame fire. And the only way you can come close to duplicating that campfire experience is with a propane fire pit like this one.
Yeah, and it does a really good job in those places where you can't have a fire. We've had some wonderful nights sitting around the propane fireplace.
The next two are heaters from the company Mr. Heater. One is an outdoor heater and one you can use inside with caution. The outdoor heater puts out a whopping 29,000 to 45,000 BTU. Now where you'd use this one is if you need to heat part of your camp site that's not near a warm campfire. So let's say you're working on your vehicle or you're over at a different table playing games and it's not close enough to the campfire to draw any warmth from. You can fire up this heater and warm the whole area up. It's directional, it puts out a ton of heat, and it can keep everybody happy. The other is the Mr. Heater 4,000 to 9,000 BTU portable buddy heater.
My favorite by far.
Now this we've used for years and years and years, and we don't go camping, it doesn't matter what time of the year, fall, spring, summer, winter for sure, without this heater. And the reason we use this heater is it's awesome to be able to heat the tent up at night, warm up the sleeping bags before we ever get in. That way when we do decide to retire for the evening, everything's toasty, it's warm, it sets us up for a perfect night.
Yeah, where I am one that is always, always, always cold, I can't tell you this portable Mr. Buddy heater is one of my all-time favorites.
You know, if you're concerned about any safety issues with the portable buddy heater, I did do a review on that and I'm going to link that up here in the corner. If you watch that video and do your due diligence and a little bit of research and make sure you do read the manual about using this heater inside, the better informed you are, the safer you'll be.
Yeah, safety first. Okay, moving on to things that will make your campsite just a little bit more comfortable.
So a couple of things to make you more comfortable around the campsite are having some good places to sit. So the first one is the Caravan Sports Infinity Zero Gravity Chair, and the second one is this GCI Outdoor Freestyle Rocker Portable Folding Rocking Chair. The gravity chair and the rocking chairs are two upgrades to the standard camp chair, and they're well worth it.
Very much so. The funny story is John bought me the gravity chair for Mother's Day. He ended up using it so much that I turned around and bought him a gravity chair for Father's Day, and we use them all the time in many different spots, as you can see right here. And to go along with that, our rocking chair, you know, you can get the basic, you know, run-of-the-mill camp chairs, and they work, but this rocking chair is primo, especially we have grandkids that come up. So to be able to sit in the rocking chair with our kids, rock them to sleep, or just sit with them has been amazing. I love my rocking chairs.
So the next is, if you've got a place to sit, you want a table that you can work around. And not every campsite has tables or may not have enough tables. So the next product is the Office Star Resin Multi-Purpose Rectangle Table. This folds in half so that it's easier to pack than a full folding table, but it gives you plenty of places to work.
I don't know why I'm so excited over tables, but this is one of our have-tos. In fact, we have 3 of these tables that we use for camping. Not only are they compact and portable, but there's so many different uses. You know, we do a lot of boondock camping. So a lot of times there's no, you know, if you're boondocking, there's no camp table there. So we use it for eating, we use it for prepping meals, we use it for crafts, we use it to make our YouTube videos. So many different possibilities that, yeah, those 3, we might need to add a 4th to our collection.
You know, and another thing you can do with these tables is on a rainy day, move your sleeping gear out of the way in your tent and play games in there. Have a table to play games. It'll give you something to do on a rainy afternoon.
Right, exactly.
Okay. The next is the Intex Pull-Out Sofa Inflatable Bed. This may seem like, oh, I've got a sofa up camping. This thing is awesome. You just pump this baby up and you've got a pull-out sofa sleeper. And in the day, it serves as a sofa. At night, you pull it out and you've got a double-size inflatable mattress.
Yeah, we actually use our sofa sleeper. We move it from inside the tent to sit outside on a nice comfortable sofa during the day and then move it back inside. It's very portable. My daughter gave it to us and it's been a fun addition to our camping gear. A lot of times it's fun to just sit inside the tent if it's either cold or rainy outside, sit on the sofa and watch a movie or listen to John play guitar.
One of the two of us may have been known for taking naps in this couch. So the next item is the Gold Armor Camping Hammock. Now, with the link that we've provided it down below for this, gives you so many different color choices, so you can't go wrong. There's, I mean, I don't know, 50 different choices.
Yeah, that's what I like though.
For
I
colors.
like colors. Yeah.
But this double hammock is awesome. You can sleep in it. You can take a nap in it. You can just relax in it. String this between two trees, and you've got a great place to hang out.
John, you could drink coffee in it.
I could drink coffee in it and then even take a nap. Okay, the next item is, actually, let me ask you a question. Whether you or the loved ones that you're buying a gift for has ever complained about going camping and just not being able to get away from the heat. You know, whether you're boondocking in a trailer and in the desert Southwest, for example, and you don't have power to run your air conditioner, or you're camping, you're in a tent and you don't have any lake or a stream or anything to cool down. Well, it's the Arctic Cove 18-volt powered cooling bucket top variable speed fan and water mister.
That's such a mouthful.
It's a lot. But what it does is you buy one of those like Home Depot buckets, the 5-gallon buckets. You put water in the bucket. Then you set this thing on the top of the bucket and you use your Ryobi 1 batteries. It's the same battery that powers all your Ryobi 1 Plus tools. You just plug that battery into the bottom of this thing and you can use it as a fan. But more importantly, on a hot day, which is just, it'll turn your day around, is you turn the fan and the mister on. And what it does is it puts a fine mist of water out that just cools. Oh, I bet a 20-foot by 20-foot section of your campsite.
Yeah.
And it's just a great break from the heat.
It really is hard when you can't get out of the heat. We've had some kind of uncomfortable camping trips where we flipped our mister on and it's kind of changed the whole trip around because we could get out of the heat and not be so overly hot. It's really pleasant.
The next one is Monopoly. But a special Monopoly game. It's the Monopoly National Parks Edition board game. This is a great time. Playing board games when you're camping is kind of a fun thing to do, especially if you've got rainy or inclement weather, is being able to break out the board game. You've got the board game there. You play Monopoly. It's the National Parks version. What could turn a rainy afternoon into a great day of memories?
Yeah.
It really is. It's a good way to go.
Our family loves games.
They do. And the last is that if you like music around the campsite, like we do a lot of times, a great Bluetooth speaker system is waterproof and it puts out 40 watts of power.
Just make sure that if you are playing your favorite music, is that you're being considerate, especially if you're at a campground, considerate of all the other campers, because you may love your music, but the campers that are just like 30 feet away from you may not like your kind of music. So just be considerate, but a good Bluetooth speaker, I think, is essential. Okay, moving on to our next section, which is your camping must-haves.
These are must-have items. This is a list of items that I think you should have on any camping trip. At least this is ones I insist on having when I go camping. So the first thing is you want to make sure you have a good knife. And the first one is this, the one I'm showing you here is this full tang 9.5-inch blade hunting knife. Now this knife is awesome. You can use this in the fire making department, in the camping kitchen department, or in the repairs department. Also happens to be really useful for fishing and hunting.
There you go. I'm always saying, John, do you have your knife? And he always has it on him.
All right, if you don't like to carry a big full fixed blade knife, I really do recommend that you always have a pocket knife with you when you're camping.
Yeah.
The next item is a Midland walkie-talkie. These walkie-talkies are awesome and that you're able to stay in communication with your group. Let's say you've got somebody out on the kayaks on the lake, or somebody's gone off and walked around the campground. and maybe on a short hike or whatever, or somebody's down fishing by the stream. This way you can communicate, just check in with everybody using the walkie-talkies, but it also allows you to come, when it's time for dinner, for example, call everybody back. Now, if you're using a trailer, the communication between the spotter and the driver when you're backing a trailer into a spot is great. And you may say, well, I could use my cell phone for that. You know what? More often than not, you're going to get into camping spots where you have no cell phone coverage. Yeah. And so having the walkie-talkie handy so that you can communicate back and forth between the spotter and the driver, that really is important.
These have come in handy for us. The old saying is, I'm sorry for what I said when you were trying to back up the trailer, is very true. But with these handy walkie-talkies, it's like makes it so much easier because you can communicate just easy.
That's right. And the next one is a must-have item of must-have items, and that's a first aid kit.
Yeah.
Don't go camping without one. Make sure you do have a good first aid kit. This one is the 200-piece professional first aid kit for home, car, or work. I've taken this very first aid kit and actually added more items to this. But this is the foundation for my first aid kit that we make sure that goes on every single camping trip with us. Having a good first aid kit and knowing how to use it is a real key for anybody camping. And this is a really heartfelt gift if you choose to give something like this.
It really is. You never know when you're going to need it, but the last thing is you don't want to be without it. So what a fantastic gift to give somebody.
The next one's a great gift idea in that it's the Chill Gorilla 12-foot by 12-foot hammock rainfly camping tarp. This is something that I don't go camping without. It's a tarp, comes with ropes and things like that. But where you want to keep a tarp is always keep it in the trunk of the car. You can do several things with the tarp, is that you can use it as a ground cloth to put under your tent. More importantly, you can create your own shelter with the tarp by just using a little bit of paracord in this tarp, and you're good to go, and you've created a shelter. The other is just an impromptu or a on-the-spot shade.
Yeah.
Well, you're camping on one of those hot days that we were talking about just a moment ago.
And if you need to know how to put up one of these gorilla tarps, check out the video above. John will walk you through different ways of how you can put up these gorilla tarps.
Another area that I always insist on having when I go camping, not an area, an item, is paracord.
Yeah.
Paracord is my go-to line. I prefer paracord over any kind of rope for making sure that everything's secure around the campsite. The Paracord Planet is the link I've included down below in the description, which allows you to buy from 10-foot to 1,000-foot lengths of paracord. My favorite paracord is the neon yellow, and that's just because it's a little easier to see, but you even like one a little bit more than that.
I like the glow-in-the-dark paracord. In fact, we've actually gone through and changed out a lot of our ties on our tents and awnings just so that they charge during the day, and then at night you can see where all those cords are so you're not having a mishap in the dark.
And the last is, don't go camping without a pair of good binoculars. I'm going through Amazon this week, and this Bushnell HTO waterproof, fog-proof prism binocular it's a small, doesn't get in the way. It's just you can put it in any pocket of your pack or pouch or whatever. It's just awesome to have a good pair of binoculars when you're out. It's for looking for wildlife and checking out different areas or getting a better view of the night sky. But you have a more important reason for having the binoculars.
Yeah, sure, wildlife, that's wonderful and fun, but we use it for just people life. A lot of times we'll send some of our kids out into the kayaks, and they'll be all the way on the other side of the lake, and it really puts my mind at ease to be able to take a look and be able to have my eye on them and know exactly where they are at any given time. So they've been really nice for us to have. Okay, moving on to shelter and sleeping.
Tents and sleeping bags and just a place to be at night and that you're secure, that's one of the foundations. So a good stove, a good cooler, a good tent, and good sleeping bag, really that's what you need to get started. Everything else is kind of extra.
Yeah.
So right now I'm going to go over 3 tents. Depending on the size of your group, here's 3 tents that may work for you. All of these tents are from Coleman. They're all Instant Up tents. One is for 6 people, one's for 8 people, and one's for 10 people. So it's the 6-person Instant Up, 8-person Instant Up, and their darkroom 10-person Instant Up tent.
And you know what? I cannot say enough positive about Coleman's Instant Up tents. You know, we used to have a tent that would take us over an hour to put up. Okay, what pole goes here? What pole goes here? And it was so hard. These Instant Up tents by Coleman has literally changed my life. In fact, I can put up our 10-person Instant Up tent all by myself. Now granted, with 2 people, yeah, it's a little bit easier. But with 2 people, we can put up our tent in less than a minute. Believe it or not, yes. In fact, we have a link above if you want to see us how easy it is to put this tent up. I love the Coleman Instant Up tents.
You know, one thing about the Coleman tents is these are all big cabin tents.
Yeah.
And the way we like to camp is we use our tent for more than just sleeping. A tent is a good place to be able to get out of the cold and rain on one of those summer afternoons or fall afternoons where it's raining or even, yes, snowing. Yeah. And being able to go into a cabin tent, a good sized tent like this, and be able to put the table up, play a game, will go from just an awful afternoon, turn it into one of the best memories of your camping trip. So make sure that when you select a tent, the way we recommend is you get way more capacity than the number of people that you're going camping with. You may have heard Holly correctly. She said that there's 2 of us, and of course our big 150-pound Newfoundland, that go camping all the time. And in the tent, that's 3 of us, plus all of our gear. And being able to move that gear out of the way and have a place where we can actually set up a table.
And enjoy.
Or I can play the guitar, or we can even hook that projector back up again and watch a movie inside the tent. When it's not enjoyable outside, we want to hang out inside the tent. Well, now we've got a comfortable living area with our tent. And that's why we really recommend these cabin tents.
Yeah, just size up. 2 people, we think the 10-man person is perfect for us. So take that into consideration if you're looking for a tent. Now, if all you're going to be doing is sleeping, yeah, then maybe if you have 4 people, get a 4-person tent. But we use our tent for so much more, and we really like all the options that it allows us to be able to do because the tent is bigger and we can move around in it.
And once again, just as a reminder, the tents that we are talking about are not for backpacking by any stretch.
Yeah.
These things are heavy. You know, Holly can lift our big 10-man tent. That's fine. But I mean, this is not something you want to carry more than 20 or 30 feet.
Yeah.
So moving on from the tents, one of the great things to have is some place to get out of the sun. You need some shade. And our recommendation is the Coleman Instant Up 13 by 13 awning. This awning is awesome. We use it in addition to our tent awning, our trailer awning. We just like to have a little bit more shade around the campsite. We're out here in the desert Southwest, and having enough shade is essential.
You know, one thing is, once again, it's an Instant Up. Can't say enough about Coleman Instant Up. So it pops up in just a snap. You know, one thing that's nice is we camp a lot of times with our grandkids. So where John and I maybe can tolerate the heat a little bit better than maybe the grandkids, to be able to have that shade is so essential. And it makes for just a nice little spot that we can all gather.
Speaking of grandkids, a lot of times you'll be at the beach, whether it's the shore of a stream or the beach of a lake or the beach of the ocean. And those, you're always going to have sun and you're always going to have wind. And this next product, the Pacific Breeze Easy Setup Beach Tent. I mean, this thing pops open when you get ready to do it. And you've got an instant shade and wind barrier.
The thing I like is the wind barrier. You know, sometimes you can't get out of the wind, and this is really helpful. You get a wind a lot of times when you are down by the beach, so this is a nice option.
All right. Along with the tent is a good sleeping bag. Our recommendation for a good sleeping bag is this Coleman Brazos 20-degree sleeping bag. You can get sleeping bags that are made for colder temperatures and some that are made for warmer temperatures. This is kind of a good middle of the road rectangular sleeping bag. You can buy, if you got a group of 4, you could get 4 bags, all the same bag, and your whole family's going to be just fine. But you like the rectangular bag for
Well,
different
I
reasons.
like the rectangular bags because you can zip them together. So then you can use body heat to kind of stay warm. So this is a good temperature bag. That's good value too. You can get like 4 bags for all under about $120. So good value and good bag.
Speaking of hinting at great camping gift ideas, the next one I have is another product by Coleman. For tent camping, this is, we don't use this, but it'd be something that I would love to try.
I like this.
What it is it's a double cot, so 2 people. On top of the cot goes an inflatable air mattress. So what's cool about this is that you're sleeping up off the ground a little bit farther. Now there's space underneath you. So you've got some space you can put your gear down below. So that's not cluttered all over the corners of your tent. But you're also sitting and sleeping up a little bit higher. This makes it easier to get in and out of the bed at night.
Yeah, as we've been getting older, it's hard to get down there on the ground. So I think that would be a great Christmas gift for John.
And see, it worked. Okay, the last one in this category is the Giga Tent Pop-Up Pod Changing Room Privacy Tent, which is essentially just a pop-up shower or outhouse that you can put up in your campground. You know, if you've got an outdoor porta potty, or if you've got an outdoor shower, this is a great shelter, a great privacy room for those sorts of things.
Yeah, this has been great for those times when you're at a campground and it's a hike to get to the restroom. To have your porta potty in one of these pop-up little mini tents has been a lifesaver. Okay, and last but not least, these are some things that you don't want to forget, some fantastic ideas for the ones that you love.
So these are some different camping gift ideas. And the first one is your National Forest Service National Parks Annual Pass. This pass is awesome, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of national parks visits or you like to boondock on National Forest Service lands. This pass can save you a lot of money. And retirees, which I'm getting closer to, look into the retiree pass. This is a lifetime pass that will just be the pass, so you don't have to pay any money for national parks or National Forest Service for the rest of your life.
Another thing is think about getting just a state park pass for the ones that you love that allows them, it's a one-time fee that allows them to get into any of the state parks in your area at no extra cost once you bought the pass.
Be careful to check on your state park pass to see if that includes camping or if it's just day use.
Okay, right.
And one last thing, don't go camping without this one thing. Make sure you have a camera.
Yeah.
Whether it's your cell phone or a point and shoot or a mirrorless or a DSLR, some sort of camera, you want to make sure you have a camera with you all the time.
Just to record those memories. You know, we get back and we have so many fun memories that we like to think back and reminisce, and a camera really makes all the difference.
Hi, hopefully we've given you some great gift ideas to help make your decision on what to get for the camper in your life, even if that camper in your life is you.
So if you like this video, give us a big thumbs up. We'd also love to have you subscribe to our channel. So from Let's Go Now Adventures, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.